and welcome to Inside the Industry, part of today's LACC Film Festival. I'm Danielle, and I'm excited to be hosting this conversation live from Studio A here in Los Angeles City College. Today's panel is all about giving us a closer look at what it's like to work in film, television, writing, producing, development, and creative writing. We've been celebrating student films all day, and the conversation is a chance to connect student work to the larger industry, how people get started, how careers grow, where ideas come from, and what the day-to-day work really looks like behind the scenes. We're joined by three incredible guests. Now, we have Yanna Billie, a writer and LACC alum. We also have Gary King, a development executive and LACC alum. And we have Hilliard Guest, a writer, producer, director, and podcaster. So we'll start by having each panelist introduce themselves, share what they do, and tell us a little bit about how they got started in the industry. Then we'll talk about their process, their current work, what inspires them, and what a real day in the professional life looks like. Toward the end, we'll open it up for the audience questions, so we'll start thinking about anything you'd like to ask. Thank you for being here, and thank you to our panelists for joining us. Let's get started. I'd love to start by going down the line. Please tell us all your name, your title, what you do, and how you first got your start in the industry.
My name is Yanna Billie. I am a writer-director, and I got started after I graduated from LACC. I went to USC, and one of my professors introduced me to his wife, who was working on American Gods at the time, and one of the showrunners, Michael Green, actually needed an assistant, and I got hired. That's actually how I started in the industry.
That's so amazing, Michael Green, wow.
It was a dream.
Gary King, independent producer and former studio and network exec. I've worked at places like Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Disney. Started my career at New Line Cinema. Also LACC alum. Started my career as an intern at New Line. Worked at a couple different production companies and worked my way up the ladder from there.
And you, Hilliard?
I'm Hilliard Guest.
Yes.
Writer, producer, sometimes director, very busy podcaster. I came from the Bay Area, some one of them Yay area peoples. And I grew up at a time during the 80s when it was really rough, it was really grindy. I think all of us in the Bay, we always say, like Ben and everybody, we always talk about how like we naturally have that grind, like we naturally all support each other, you know. But I was a theater kid, back in the 80s, I was a little punk rock rude boy kid. I've always been the outsider, always been the weird kid who dressed weird and, you know, in the Fishbone and the specials and stuff. Always just that weird dude. And I was a theater kid at the same time. So I think by the time I was 20, I moved to San Francisco and started doing professional theater. I did stuff with Coleman Domingo and a bunch of people there, and I was a triple threat. So I could dance, sing, and act at the time. My voice is going, as you see. And I moved to LA, came here to be an actor, and I eventually wrote a script that made it to the list on Sundance, and then my whole life just turned around. And back then, it was like 2001, 2002, it wasn't cool to be a hyphenate. So I had to choose, am I going to write or am I going to act? And I chose to write. And so I gave up acting and focused on that. And since 2009, I've produced like 34 projects. And I have a new movie out right now. So yeah,
yes.
For sure.
And what was that called again?
It's called Mermaid. We just premiered at CineQuest. We're going to be in the Bay Area at like 3 other big festivals and a whole bunch of places on the East Coast. We're getting distributors hitting us, you know, about that right now. And then I was telling Gary I'm starting to act again a little bit. So we'll see. I can't tell you about that one though.
I'm excited. Yeah. And also for those of you wondering, his shirt is actually his podcast.
Yeah,
so make sure you check that out.
Check me out. One of the longest running podcasts out there. I've done 551 episodes. What separates my show from everybody else's is we do this with my guests, and there's 3 or 4 of you guys sitting there. So at the end, you guys could ask us anything, you know. And so showrunners to beginning writers on the show. You know, everybody. But check it out. It's very, very, I say grimy just because our language is a little potty. You know what I'm saying?
Real conversation.
We treat it like the writer's room. That's what we do in the writer's room. We just be going off on some stuff. So, but check us out. We're also on YouTube. So we just started that channel. So you guys can follow us there. Yeah. So thank you.
And for additional context, if you don't mind, the reason why Hilliard and I are so familiar with each other is we worked together on season 1 of the show Cross for Amazon. He worked with Ben Watkins, our showrunner. I was the point exec for Paramount Television Studios.
We're in meetings almost every week.
Sometimes more than one.
I love that. Well, thank you guys for sharing. I know everyone is just burning with questions. Yanna, I definitely want to ask you about the Cannes Film Festival. That's such an exciting accomplishment. Can you tell us about the project and what was featured and what the experience was like?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been working on this documentary forever. And with a few friends, I wanted to do something that I could actually write, shoot, and put out there like faster. And I'd been toying with this idea for a few years, and so I decided to dust it off. At the time, it didn't have any social media parts to it, and so when I was revamping it, I included that in the story, and I feel like it made it like much more contemporary than like the original version. And so we shot it and we put it out there, and we got into a couple of film festivals, and we got into Cannes, like the diversity showcase at Cannes. And so we were there. I got back like 2 or 3 days ago, and it was the most amazing experience. Especially because there is something to actually work on something, and it's something to put it out there and to be a part of an audience and experience, and have a feedback. And like when you spend days figuring out a beat, and then you watch it with an audience and they react exactly to what you were trying to do, it's like it's a real high. So it was an incredible experience being there. What I really got out of that experience is that I've known some of the people I worked with on the project for maybe 10 years. They're really good friends, but I did not know how incredible they were, like how talented they were. And like there's this really weird thing that we always do where we're trying to reach out to people like above us and not sort of like work with like the people around us. And that was like the most amazing lesson for me. It's like to really create the space and the opportunity for all of us to actually shine and create something that we're really proud of. And we've been, like a few of us started we're building a production company, and we are creating a show right now together.
Oh, exciting. Do you care to share?
It's too early.
Stay tuned, okay.
I'll keep you posted. Okay.
Also, that brings me to a point about networking linear. I feel like a lot of the teachers and professors around here, they always tell us that we need to network linear and quit always trying to just jump up, because sometimes the people who are going to make the best projects with you are right here, right next to you. So always make sure that we're networking.
Can I extend on that?
Yes, please.
I talk about this a lot, actually. I do a lot of panels, and I always say everybody's always focused on the people up here, and they forget one of you might be Steven Spielberg sitting next to you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people get that. So here's just a small thing. This is a tiny thing. Now, there's only 6 seats in the front. You guys should be rushing to the front. You know why? The front is where we see you. We can't even see most of the people in the back. So we're going to remember, oh, he got that cool Title for DJ shirt on. So when I see you on the street, I'm like, you were wearing that? You know what I mean? I won't see you in the back. So that is one reason you should think about it. The other part of it is, think about this. The people next to you, somebody in here made a dope film. So you should be going, let me talk to that person. I love that DP. They need to do my movie. And next thing you know, that's how it works. That's why she's saying what she's saying. She's exactly right. So just wanted to echo that for sure.
Yeah. So don't forget to talk to the people sitting next to you. You never know who it is. Even in the lobby today, we just randomly met. I was just guessing. But yes, Gary, also you're an LACC alum, and now you work as a development executive. Can you tell us about
And
what
producer.
and producer? Yes, don't want to forget. Can you tell us a little bit about the development executive does and how that path led you there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I got into the business, the great thing about starting as an intern is you get an opportunity to sort of look at all different aspects and figure out what it is you want to do. And so when I started out in New Line Cinema and I learned what development was, development were the producers for the studio. They read every script, they gave notes on everything, they watched every cut, they gave notes on everything. But the difference between a producer and a development exec is the development exec buys. The development exec buys the pitch. They hire the director. They sign off when casting. And so once I figured out what that job was, I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. That sounds interesting to me. And you work your way up the ladder from there. There's nuances in both film and TV, right? So if you're the studio exec, if you're the development exec, everyone's got a boss above them, but you're a big part of the decision-making team. On the television side, when you're a studio exec, like when we were making Cross, I was ultimately a middleman because Amazon was our distributor in our network, and they had final say on everything. So as a studio exec on the television side, your job is to work with your showrunner and your creatives to make sure that they are presenting the version of their show, of their story that they are most happy with, and then you have to protect them in taking that vision to the network. You have to make sure that you get full network buy-in, and that's both on creative and on business decisions, and that's what a studio exec does on the TV side.
What do you think sets you apart to get so many roles and opportunities in the different companies? Because I mean, those are some heavy hitters, and if I read correctly, I think you got to work on Straight Outta Compton.
No.
Okay. No. Well, forget I said that part, but also just getting the opportunities. Yeah, that was the cousin. I thought we met at the barbecue.
I read the original draft of Straight Outta Compton as an intern. To me, it was when I got in the door. I was an LACC student. And so the first day at New Line Cinema, they packed all the interns together in a conference room. There was about 30 of us. And we're all going through our introductions. And I'm so-and-so from Stanford. I go to Harvard, yada, yada, yada. And then here I am, a little bit insecure about, LA City College, right? And it took me about half a day of talking to these other interns to realize they're not smarter than me. They're not better than me. And because by the time I got my internship, I was 21, and I had already worked a bunch of different odd jobs just trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. So I knew they weren't going to outwork me. They weren't going to out-hustle me. And that was really the thing that once we got into the internship, by the end of the summer, everybody knew my name because I was always the one who volunteered. Oh, do you need help with this? Do you need somebody to go get coffee? Whatever it was. I learned how to fix a damn copy machine. Back in the mid-2000s. We were literally photocopying hundreds of scripts a day. And if it broke down, you had to call maintenance. Maintenance might come in 10 minutes. They might come in 2 hours. You know what I mean? You never know what you get. But as an intern, I just start opening things up, figuring out how to fix it. I provided instant value. And by the end of the summer, they were asking me to come back and intern again.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that really quickly. I think that is such an important lesson to be the person who brings solutions. Like, you have to be that person. And I honestly think that if that wasn't my attitude, I don't think that I would have gotten a chance to actually be in that writer's room because I was the person everybody was turning to at one point to solve problems. I think that you have to make yourself almost indispensable.
Yeah, I feel
for people to remember that.
I want to add to that as well. Here's an example. Whenever I'm producing, I will gather all the PAs together. I usually have about 5 or 6 of them on every set. And because I want them to go into different departments. I'm not just going to put you at crafty, right? We already have somebody for that.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure, I'll gather them all and go, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a producer. Okay, you stick with me. Right? What do you want to be? I want to be a DP. Okay, I'm going to put you by the camera. You know what I mean? I put you in all the departments so you get to a chance to really shine in those departments. The other thing I say is this. This could be negative to some people, but there's a meaning to it. I say, okay, so what I'm looking for is somebody who is you, the way you used to be. I want somebody who's if I drop it, they pick it up. And what I mean is not to be oh, I'm here, anticipate.
Yeah.
I want you to be a thinker. I want you to be, because that's what a good producer is. What you don't see, if you see me on the set and you see me sitting by Video Village and I'm sitting there like this, oh, I'm not just sitting. I'm listening, I'm thinking, I'm going, okay, I got to go talk to the line producer and tell them that, right? You know what I mean? So you have to be anticipating. So this is getting you ready for all those things. So be the person who, if you see somebody's, somebody left something, somebody forgot something, grab it, help, be that person. That's the one that we want to hire. So that's just wanted to piggyback off of that.
That's a really good point. That's very helpful. Hilliard, also you work as a writer, producer, director, and podcaster. Can you tell us a little bit about how you built those pathways?
About how I what?
How you built those pathways?
Oh, God. Well, everything is a pivot to something else. Like I told you, I was an actor first, then I became a writer. The next thing is producing, and then you go, I need to direct. You know what I mean? So it kind of works like that. And I was telling you offline, I used to teach at the organization of like screenwriters, and I'd be like, here's how I sold my first film. Here's how I got an agent. Here's how I got into the Writers Guild, whatever it was. And that is an extension of my podcast. So I was realizing I was doing these presentations to like 30 people, and people keep going, you're so good at this. You should be, talking about this further. So the podcast eventually came and blew up and did really well. And then I started doing the Writers Guild podcast as well. And next thing you know, it just kind of became what it became. But to me, everything is an extension of the pivot. All of you guys in here, if you're just this, you're not. You got to have more than one thing today. When I was a writer, when I was coming up, you could not do it all. There wasn't very many Lena Waifs and Issa Raes. There was one or two people doing one thing, and they had 6 things going on, but it wasn't popular.
Right.
But because of where we are with technology, all of you guys can do it all. You know what I mean? So that's why you see all the hyphenates.
And even then, if I may interject, like coming up back in the day, it was like, if you're a TV writer, you're a TV writer. You don't cross over into films. If you're a film director, you don't do episodic television.
Right.
Now you can blend the worlds, and that's one of the beauties of where the industry is today. 20 years ago, you couldn't blend those worlds. You got stuck on the side that you were on, like the path you started down. That's what you are. Now you can jump back and forth, and you can be versatile, and you can work a bunch of different ways.
It almost sounds like it's beneficial too, from what I was understanding, that you need to jump into everything, to try everything, to see maybe I like this better, maybe I don't like this, and just even if you're just around and the opportunity comes, then it's like I'm knowledgeable. Even
This is the time to do it. You guys are all in school. This is the time to be on all your friends' films and going, I'm going to produce the film this time. I'm going to do Slate tomorrow. I'm going to be a line producer on this one. So when you come out, you go, I know what my superpower is. I'm a dope UPM. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you come out of it realizing somebody's on camera 3. I don't like being on camera 3. I like camera A because I could focus on the A spot or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you'll see where you stand out and you'll realize, I don't like just sitting here. I'd rather be on Steadicam. I think I should be a DP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all those things you'll start to learn and figure out, but you have to raise your hand when your friends are making movies. How can I help? What can I do? And here's something I tell PAs all the time, and assistants. Sometimes you see, even on a big budget, you'll see people blocking off traffic, or somebody's just standing guard to make sure people can walk by or whatever. It's the most menial job you could have, but you have to look at it differently.
Yeah.
And we all know this, all of us who's produced. What you have to change your mind is going, why am I just sitting out here blocking traffic? Instead, you go, now when I'm producing, now I know how to talk to the guy who's blocking traffic. You see what I mean? You got to change your mindset now, so that as you're blessed to keep moving up, all those departments you know how to talk to now. So now you know exactly what you know. You don't want them to go to the left, you want them to block to the right so they can get through. Because I did it 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So just think about things like that. It'll help. Sure.
That's perfect.
And there really isn't any like small job, right? Or if you don't block the traffic, we can't shoot.
Period.
Everything's
right?
got a purpose.
So everything has a purpose, and everyone is like a part of the big machine. So
Yeah, and in the Disney princess analogy, sometimes you got to kiss a few frogs to find the right one, right? Like, do the job on set that you don't feel like is right for you, just to see if you like it or not.
Exactly.
100%. I feel like even as a student right now, every time I'm trying something new, she's always, Professor Jen, she's always very adamant about try this and try that. Like, you're not just going to come over here and like just be hosting or just be producing.
Right.
You have to try it all. And I think it's helpful too just to see the teamwork and then seeing how important your role is, or that guy who's guarding Crafty. Like, all of the roles are very important.
Yep.
So I also want to talk a little bit about career paths, because everyone's journey into this industry looks different. Gary and Yanna, you were both LACC alumni, which is really exciting for the students here. How did your time at LACC help shape your path and prepare you for the work you're going to be doing now?
Should I go? I feel everything started here for me because I'd been writing and doing and producing and doing little things for a long time. And but like I said earlier, like I really felt like there were things that were missing in my film language, my film grammar or whatever. And so I thought I was going to come here and I was going to take a few classes and I was going to like have a certificate and then go back out and just continue to do whatever. And I started here and I couldn't stop. I got super interested in everything, really, like including photography. And so once I started doing that, I was like, I'm just going to continue. Before I moved to LA, I lived in France and I had to drop out of college for many reasons. So when I started here, it was an opportunity for me to actually go through college. And so I stayed, I got an AA, and then I applied to 2 places. I got into USC, and then everything sort of changed because I started building all these different relationships. And I have to say also, even on the film that went to Cannes, it's called Till Death. Is going through the film festival circuit right now. There are people who worked on Till Death that I actually met here.
Oh, wow.
I still have like really strong ties with like a few people who actually I went to school here. Even people who I haven't worked with, I had like really good friends until today. So it felt like it really shaped me and helped me get to where I am.
I love that. And you?
Yeah, for me, 2 of the biggest things I got out of my time at LACC were people management and relationship building. And those are real world skills, but also business world skills. And when I look back at my time at City College, like there's still people who I went to school with here 20 years ago that we're still tight today. There's one student in particular who, obviously we went our separate ways. I went the exec way. He stayed the filmmaker route. He had a movie released theatrically very early in COVID, and now he and I are, we're currently in discussions with a piece of talent for another movie that he wants to direct and that I can potentially produce for him. And that's just a relationship born out of us bullshitting just a few feet away outside in the hallway one day. Like that was literally how we connected. And those are the relationships, to the points that, both of the other panelists had made earlier, like talk to your peers. The class that you are in now, these are your first industry contacts. Work on each other's shorts, be collaborative, like extend beyond the classroom and the program, right? Like you guys are assigned to work together on certain things, but like find your tribe, find your crew, figure out who you work well with. Start putting stuff together. Even if you're just shooting it on an iPhone, like shoot it together, work together, build those relationships, get those reps, figure things out together, because it's only gonna benefit you in the long run, because one of them will go on to get a job, they can bring you on, they can hire you, they can get you on this, that, what, like take advantage of those relationships while you guys are all together.
I love that. Was there a class project or a professor or a moment at LACC that helped you see yourself working in the industry that like really stood out?
I loved Michelle Gendelman. Yeah, I think that I feel like she saw something in my writing that I wasn't very clear about from like the very beginning, and like she was always really supportive and very encouraging. So definitely went to screenwriting classes with her, for sure.
Yeah, for me, and this is an imperfect example, but it was Cinema 2 with Joni Varner. And it was our second directing assignment where I realized this ain't for me. I am not a director. That is not a skill set I possess. This is not what I'm gonna be, but it's good that I'm doing it so that I understand why it is that it's not for me.
Okay. Was there a specific moment when you all realized, okay, this is the industry I want to be in?
Yeah. Well, I got into the industry on an accident. I was kind of hanging around with a bad crowd in the Bay, and we were a breakdance crew. And shut up. And y'all just jealous. Y'all ain't got who want to battle me? Right. No, I'm kidding.
I do.
We can go. And we used to hang out at this Burger King where we all would, mess around and dance and stuff and get money. And what happened was we used to go in Burger King to go to the bathroom. They started realizing brothers wasn't paying to go to Burger King, so they stopped letting us go. So I had to walk a couple blocks away to the children's theater to go to the bathroom. So I walked in one day, and I was already kind of dressing like, this is before breaking ever even came out. I was dressing like Turbo and Ozone with the bandanas and the crazy, and the very punk rock, right? I told you I was kind of crazy. Shut up. And so I had to go to the bathroom, and I walked in, and the lady's like, "Oh, you're here to audition?" I was like, "For what?" She was like, "Oh, we're doing this musical." And I was like, "What do I need to do?" She was like, "Sing and dance." I was like, "Oh, that's it?"
Yeah.
So I went right on the stage. Guess what I sung? Is This the End? From New Edition, because I didn't know better.
Okay.
It was playing on the radio, and I used to have that falsetto. So I sang Is This the End, and then they did the dance routine. We were on the streets doing routines. So, and I could naturally dance. I was flexible, right?
Yeah.
They're doing little 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. I'm like, y'all are killing it. So I'm spinning, I'm kicking, holding my leg, boom. And they're like, oh, you're in the front. You're in the show. And that's what saved my life. And I never forget, opening night, we did the show, and they gave me like a whole big dance number, and I heard the crowd, and I was like, oh, forever. You know what I mean? So that's what, it saved my life at the same time, because all my crew all went to jail, got in the crack. That's what saved me. I went that way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It almost sounds like the arts just can save anybody. I feel like we all need like an outlet in some way, shape, or form, find our why, and keep that going.
Yeah.
So also, we're going to open it up to the audience now, and if you have a question for one of the panelists, please raise your hand, and we'll come to you, and you can ask a question for one specific panelist or the whole group.
You can ask anything, so. Yeah. Except for that.
It's an open spot.
You really know how to break dance?
I was more of an up rocker there.
Because I'm Master Tick and Trina D. We can do this. I'm 42 now, so I'm getting back into the industry, and I found out being in Jen's class, I like to do technical directing, but I'm a talent too. And for me, I've gotten ill, so I've put on a tremendous amount of weight, which is quite different from when I used to go out and do auditions. So, I guess for you guys, when you hit a plateau, how do you get out of it so you can get back into the game? Would be my question, and it's for
That's a
all
really
of you.
good question.
That is.
I'm actually, here's a funny thing though. What's your name again? I'm sorry?
Master Tick and Trina? No, I'm Trina.
Trina.
Yes.
So here's the interesting, I was telling you, I'm doing a movie right now, and I haven't acted since 2004. The last big show I did was this long-running musical called Hedwig and the Angry Inch. And I had sold my first movie, and they were shooting it in August that same year. So I got a chance to go produce the show. So I haven't acted since then. I've been behind the screen since then. And this job just came to me out the blue. One of my friends is like, I wrote something for you. And a nice movie, too. And I did my first day a couple weeks ago, and I got another one in like 2 weeks, right? And it's a nice role. I was scared, so I know where you're going, because before, like, I'm 55, right? Brother just pretty. Shut up. I was always playing roles for guys that were like under 18 because they needed to cast somebody like that. And now all of a sudden, I jumped and I'm a man now, so to speak, right? And I was like, who am I now? So when they wrote this role for me, I was like, fuck, what am I gonna play? And then they gave me the role and I was like, oh, he's a man. I could do this. You gotta see yourself differently. And that's what I had to do. I had to go, okay, my voice is a little bit deeper, right? I can't quite do the splits like I used to, but, right? So, yes, be ready for the pivot. Maybe you're now more of a character actor. You know what I mean? So you just have to roll with where you are, and if you want to get your body back where it was, get it back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's my thought.
Yeah. No, I mean, I meet life where it is. I mean, for me, and Hilliard knows this, right? 2 years ago in August, Paramount shut down their television studio, as you guys have seen in the news with all the merger and acquisition stuff with Skydance. So they literally, 100 employees at a television studio.
Crazy.
Pink slipped us on a Tuesday, said we got until Friday to get all that shit out the building. And funny enough for me, the following week after that happened, I got COVID. So I was just down. And it gave me a lot of time to think in terms of like, I'm not a studio executive anymore. I can be again if that's what I decide to pursue, but what do I want to do that's gonna make me happy, right? And that led me back to producing, to try and give it a go on my own, see if I can build a business for myself as an independent producer. And it really took being laid off to get that clarity, right? Because I would have stayed on the hamster wheel, right? You get salary, you get benefits, all the perks of being a studio executive, right? Like I could have stayed on that hamster wheel, but the layoff was the blessing in disguise.
The bonuses.
Bonuses. Yeah. I mean, but once all that stuff was taken away from me, I had a chance to like really sit down and think, what do I want, right? Like, I know this is the business I want to be in. I have no other transferable skills, I don't think. Like, I've been doing this for too long. But it was like, what version of this is going to make me happy? And it was like, maybe I need to be my own boss for a little bit. Maybe I want to build something just for me.
Right.
Sounds like a blessing in
I love
disguise.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But see, now he's really dangerous because he's got all that skills as an exec that makes him an even better producer.
Very true.
Yeah.
We have a new question from Danny.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you. This has been so informative. I should have sat in the front, but I didn't. But let's see here. I love Fishbone, by the way, one of my favorite bands.
Those are my
But
dudes.
I was going to say, in terms of education, I know some of you, I'm not sure, someone was talking about like USC. I went to USC, but that was for a different major. But how important do you think it is to get like a bachelor's? Or do you think, like some people just say you don't need a bachelor's in film, but what do you guys think about that, like education-wise?
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, I don't like mine.
It's I felt like I needed it. Do I think everybody needs it? Absolutely not. There are people who understand filmmaking without ever going to film school. It's great. I'm not that person. I feel like coming here and then going to USC allowed me to deepen my understanding of filmmaking and also find like really amazing collaborators that I'm still working with right now. So all those things were like extremely valuable to me. And then I didn't stop there because I continued. Like I got an MFA in screenwriting after that because that's me. Like I feel like, to me, it's also really important because English is not my first language. So like, I feel like there's a lot of things that are sort of getting lost in translation and that I have to like intentionally work on. And so those things are really important to me, and I feel like they completely transform my life in terms of being more knowledgeable, but also because of all the people I've met along the way and how they've changed my life. So I think it matters, but it matters to me. And I think it's also very valuable. There are also a lot of people who don't need it, and I can totally understand and respect that.
Similar. This is a business where it's more about who you know than what you know. But at the same time, the educational aspect is important so that when you get the opportunities, you actually know how to execute. And I would say, at least for me, school was more important for helping build the network and learning the skills than it was receiving a piece of paper that says I can competently do this. And I think, the level of education you decide to pursue in this industry, I think, is dependent on what your network is, right? If you get an opportunity before you get your bachelor's or your master's, I think you need to think really hard about whether it's worth it to pass up that opportunity to pursue the master's, right? Like, you're gonna have to meet life and opportunity where it is.
I would say this. I mean, we're out of college, so I encourage you to go to college. Don't get it twisted. But I just echo them. It's not something you have to have. I didn't go to school. I didn't even have, I got my GED. That's as far as I went. And what I agree with you. I think schools are for those of you who need the community. Because what I found, like I've been in some program, like I was in a program at USC, and like I'm still close to all those people. I think only two of them are still working in TV. The other 10, I don't know where they are. You know what I mean? But I'm close to the ones that were close to me. You don't need it, but I think it's important for you if it's important to you. If you're somebody like you're here, I saw you walking around earlier, you look like you know a lot of people. These are the people you should be knowing. You know, do you need to still go to USC next? I don't know what your age is. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth talking to some of these people and shooting some shorts and building your thing like this and writing a pilot and, whatever, and submitting it to Austin to see how you do, which is a whole nother side story that we should talk about too at some point about writing specs and scripts, and we haven't talked a lot of writing stuff. But can I just say a little something? So, how many of you guys are writers? Okay. How many of you guys are doing TV and film or both? Okay. How many of you guys have written a spec script of a TV show? Okay, this should be bigger than that. Now, I know most people are just wanting pilots today. I think, like I have probably 12 mentees that work with me, and I make all of them write spec scripts because you're going to get on a show and you're basically going to be writing a spec script, if you think about it, right? So you got to be teaching yourself now how to do it. And it's coming back a little bit. A lot of our showrunner friends are going, let me read the pilot. If they're not sure, let me read your spec, right, to see. So you don't want to not have one. The reason you should do it is because it teaches you how to mimic. It teaches you how to think about condensing short stories into like an idea into a story with actual characters, which you're going to have to do on a show. It gets you ready for it. So you guys have got to be getting yourself ready. Find out what show is right for you. Here's my caveat that I give a lot of my people I work with. Don't be obvious. So, and this is no offense to anybody. I'm going to use an example of, like I have a lot of my mentees are black, right? So I tell my you can't say female anymore. You say women. What do you say, women? Okay, some people, you can't say female. Okay, so I'll say female since we're all here. I'll tell my female mentees, like, let's take back when Issa Rae show was the big show. Everybody was writing an Insecure. I'm going, Hollywood expects you to write that. You should be trying to do this show to show them, look at what else I could write, right? That don't mean you can't do that. You already wrote your pilot that shows you could do that part. Now you need to show them what else you can do. Always do the obvious. If you're an action writer and you want to prove that you could write, you know, on a certain type of show, don't do the obvious show. Show them that you could do the thing that has a little science in it, that has a little horror in it. You know what I mean? You got to be testing yourself. That's how you stand out to me, at least in my opinion.
If I can briefly
please.
Back on that point, as a studio exec, what writing the spec pilot proves is that you know how to write for someone's voice that isn't your own. And that's, you know, like nobody is going to show run their first show. You're going to get staffed on somebody else's show, and you got to be able to fit into their format and write for their characters. And that's why you write the spec pilot.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that, and I feel like everyone in the room did. Thank you for making that
We
point.
have a couple more questions.
Hello.
Hello.
Y'all can hear me. I'm Janelle Green. I'm studying sound for film, all things audio, music supervision. That's the goal. My question is about mentorship. I feel like, how do you secure mentorship? Because I feel like I don't understand like how to make that happen. Even though it's something that I really, really want, I don't know how to seek out, or should I be putting out a resume or a post, or I don't feel like I'm coming across a lot of people who are available for mentorship. I don't know if that's a thing, if you could just...
I always think, and I'm curious to know what you guys think, I think mentors come about. Part of the problem is most people think the mentor is supposed to help you. But what I found, I mentioned the name of somebody who's one of my mentors earlier, to Gary, and one of the biggest directors in town, but I don't go to him to get a job. I go to him when I'm like, I'm having a problem here. You've been here before, how can I get out of this? Or what suggestion do you have? And most of the kids that I work with now who are my mentees are the same. When I first met them, they thought I was going to get them a job. And they've learned I actually help them better by helping them with the scripts, getting them ready, prepping them for their generals, you know what I mean? All that stuff like that. And eventually they learned that they could actually help people too because they use my advice, right? So what I found is don't search for the mentee, for the mentor. You're going to find them because you're doing the work. Somebody's going to notice, excuse my phrase, somebody dropped it and you picked it up. They're like, who is she? She's dope. I could use her. That's the one you want. You don't want somebody who's like, you run into them and they're like, well, fine, come on through. You want somebody who's like, I like you. You need to be coming to hang out with me in my studio so you can learn what I do. That's my opinion, if that makes sense, you know?
I agree with what you just said. I was just gonna add a couple of things. I think that what you just mentioned is like a very natural way for things to happen, actually, where someone notices you and like start sort of like mentoring you without any real like contract or anything like that. But then there are organizations that actually help to pair like mentors with mentees. And maybe you can look into that, like find an organization that would actually help you, like to connect you with a mentor who would be willing to that. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, all of the unions have a mentorship program. Yeah.
Yep.
One more question? Yeah.
This has been so great. Thank you for all of your insights. I am sort of like Trina, a mature student who's coming back into the industry, but I actually wasn't a theater kid. I was somebody who kind of came to performance late. What I am really excited about doing, since I am a writer, I'm multi-hyphenate, I would love to be you one day, Gary. I would love to be the person. Yeah, I know. There's an app for that. Because I think of myself as somebody who sort of sees things like broader and how to put things together and sort of like a chief of staff sort of mentality. I'm curious as to how to position myself to someone who is high rank for development, because that would be my dream.
So there are a couple different ways you can go about it. I think the most important thing is trying to figure out who are the people in this business that you look up to, that you want to emulate, and try and figure out a path towards them. Is it a showrunner? Is it a Dick Wolf style television producer? Is it a filmmaker? Is it a feature? Like, figure out which one of those lanes that you feel like best represents who you are, and try and figure out how to put yourself in that orbit. You know, like if you're someone who has no interest in episodic television, interning or working for you know, half-hour sitcom showrunner isn't going to give you any career value. You got to know who you are, and you got to figure out how to take the steps to position yourself to be where you want to be.
I already know. FX Onyx Collective. That's.
Oh yeah.
And I want to be able to do something where it's focusing on sort of creatives of color and nurturing that and greenlighting shows that aren't getting seen elsewhere. So I sort of know at least one of my targets, but maybe I need a second one.
Disney starts interviewing for their summer internships at the top of every year. Like they start that interview and hiring cycle like 4 or 5 months in advance.
Yeah, I would say most of them have some sort of an intern,
an internship program.
track
Yeah.
that you get. You just have to decide for yourself, can you do it? Do you have the time? Because you're not going to make a lot of money at first, but you have to see the long run. You like I always tell my mentees, you know, you got to be the person that comes in a room, kills it, and they're going to be moving you up so much faster than everybody else. Like you got to have that. Like it's what happened to Garrett. He just kept going up. You know what I mean? So eventually you'll move up. I don't know if you know. Did I ever tell you the story how I got with Ben?
I don't think so.
So
No.
here's just a sidebar story because we're talking about this. So he was talking about how I was working with Blue Monday. So how I got over there is I had been on my podcast and we were talking, and I'm a little nosy, as you see. And so I just started asking him questions he would ask writers. And I was answering the question as if I was the writer. And he was like, dude, you're fucking, I didn't know all this stuff about you. He's like, you're dope. And he was like, why don't you come by the office like next week? So I came by. We just started talking. He already had it planned. He was like, you going to be the next dude? I was like, me? To come be the director of development here? Like, what do I know about that? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you already run your company. You know everybody. Everybody likes you. You're a perfect person to do it. And I got to tell you, it was the best thing I ever did out of almost every job I've ever done. Oh, wow. Because that's why I said, that's why I think you're so dangerous now. So because I know how dangerous I am now after watching him pitch out shows and do this, and I got to staff 2 shows, you know, so it's like so much stuff I learned that prepared me even more as I continue to grow my company. So I'm like, oh, I was already a pretty dope in my head showrunner. Now I know I can do it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that. So
100%. And don't just think beyond Onyx. Think what are the companies similar to Onyx that have similar mission statements. Also within that, think of what pod deals does Onyx have, right? Like I think they still have a deal with Ryan Coogler's company. Right. I know they used to have a deal with Prentice Penny's company. Like, think of who are the people in the Onyx orbit. Don't just think Onyx exclusively. Like, go through the layers to get there. Yeah.
That was a really great question, and I feel like the answers were all very inspiring and insightful. Before we wrap up, I'd love to end with one final question for each of you. What is one piece of advice that you would give to LACC students, among all of the other great pieces of advice that we had so far, that are trying to build a future in the industry?
Closed mouth doesn't get fed. Like, if you are at all interested in anything Hilliard said while he was sitting here, walk up to him after this panel. Do you need an intern? Do you need help with the podcast? I've done this, and this here at City College. Is that a skill set I can bring to what you're doing? Like,
I need somebody who's dope at YouTube. So
see, don't like speak it into existence. Don't be afraid.
I would just okay.
No, go.
I would go back. Who you pointing at? That's good. All right. Awesome. I'll go back to what we were talking about earlier about working within the people that are here again. Just to remind you guys, like, see, my girl pointed you out to help you. She was echoing you. She was going, don't forget my girl can kill it, right? See, that's what I'm saying. Pookie over here. But that's important. Somebody saw what your superpower was because something you did somewhere, she saw it, right? And somebody else in here saw it. So all you guys have to be constantly doing that. You hear about something going on, you got to be going, oh, I know the right person for that. If it's not me, it's them. And they're going to remember that. And they're going to go, if it's not me, it's them. And that's how you keep that family close. Yeah, for sure.
Everything they said. Also,
That's called yes and, by the way.
yes, and also, this is this is where I live right now. I live in a space of no one owes me anything. If I want it, I have to go and get it. I have to create it. I think that there is something to be said about the democratization of media. You have access to everything you need. You have your phone, you can make a movie. You're in school, you have your friends, you have everything you need, and you can do it, and you can put it out there directly to customers, and that is all you need today. And everything is immediate as you're building your career, and people are gonna find you if they have to find you. And if they don't find you, you'll find a way to monetize whatever it is that you're doing. And I think that that's my reality right now, so that's it.
Build it, do it, don't be afraid. I mean, Apple is producing an MLS soccer game this weekend that they are shooting entirely on iPhone 17 Pros.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
You have very few excuses now.
Yeah. And please check out my show, Not to Sell It, Screenwriters Rant Room, everywhere. I'm telling y'all, lots of game on there, 551 episodes, plenty in the archives.
Yes, and don't forget, you have an upcoming movie?
Yeah, it's called Mermaid. It's in the festival circuit now. We'll see. We'll probably go to, Amazon or something eventually. We were talking about that earlier. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'm so excited for that. Do you have any upcoming shows or anything you want to?
Nothing upcoming. I produced a movie for Hallmark last month. If anybody has Hallmark Network or Hallmark Plus, if you're a super fan, you can go find it on there. It's called A Season to Blossom.
Awesome.
Season of Blessing?
Season to Blossom.
Oh, Season to
Blossom, yes. It was a springtime movie.
I want to give you an Instagram, try to help you out.
For sure, for sure. I am at Hilliard Guest on everything, and Screenwriters Rant Room also.
All right. Well, thank you so much to our panelists, Yanna, Billie, Gary King, and Hilliard Guest for joining us today and starting the experience, the advice, and the insight. And thank you to our audience for being such a great part of this conversation. The panel of, the best part of the panel in the LACC Film Festival. We are celebrating student films, student filmmakers, and the creative community here at Los Angeles City College. We hope today's conversation gave you a better sense of what it means to work in the industry, how different everyone's path can be, and how important it is to keep creating, keep learning, and keep building your voice. Please enjoy the rest of our festival, support the filmmakers, and stick around for the next block of films. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, guys.